Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Monica, and for today's video, as you can probably tell by the title, I'm going to be doing a story time with you guys, and I figured I'd do a little get ready with me while I tell you guys my story of how I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. Now, I've been struggling with this disease for about 2 going on 3 years, I guess. Symptoms started as early as end of 2017, beginning of 2018. But I'm just going to keep it real with you guys, and just really tell you my story. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I've never done anything like this before, but I figured this is a really great way for you guys to get to know me a little bit better. This first story time, get ready with me, is going to be how I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So if you guys are interested in finding out, then just keep on watching. All right, you guys, let's just get this story time started, shall we? Got my handy dandy water here. I'm already at the 6 p.m. mark, so I'm ahead of time. It's only 2:11, so we're good. Also, just because I will be telling you guys my story on how I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I won't really be talking about the makeup products that I'm using today, but for anyone who is interested in the products that I'm using, I'll definitely list all the products down below in the description box down below. So let's just get into it, shall we? So yeah, this all started in 2018. From what I remember, it could have possibly started a little bit near the end of 2017, but it was mainly 2018 when this all started. So I would say it was probably in the beginning of 2018 that I was starting to notice some pain, especially in my left foot. So the part of your foot, like, so here's your toes, and then here's kind of like, at the bottom of your foot where you usually get calluses, like that one part. I don't even know the name of that part of your foot, but anyways, that was like my main source of pain. It hurt so much. So like if I try to go on my tippy toes, it would hurt a lot. There's points where I could even do that. So my job mainly was standing up on my feet majority of the time. Yeah, like I was able to sit down here and there, but you would seem kind of lazy. So I worked in the last 3.5 years at the time. I was working in a spa and whatnot. So anyways, I was on my feet a lot. And then, just like ordinary foot pain, figured, I'm on my feet a lot, it's normal, right? And it got to the point where the pain was so bad that it was waking me up at night, and I was really uncomfortable, and I was noticing some stiffness in my body. So it was just like an array of different things, basically. And I think it came up one weekend where I woke up and I put my foot on the floor and I was like, oh, buddy, like I was in so much pain. I couldn't even fathom, I couldn't even explain it because I had not done anything, okay? Like I hadn't hurt myself. I didn't go for a crazy walk. Like I didn't do anything from what I remember to cause this pain, like at all. So I was a little worried about what the hell was going on. And it got to the point where I could barely put pressure on my foot. Like I was just kind of limping. So I figured, okay, something's obviously wrong with my foot. I should go see a doctor and probably get an x-ray done. So I go into a walk-in clinic, and luckily, one of the walk-in clinics nearby, they actually do x-rays and a bunch of different services. So you can get one right away when you see them. So I explained to them what happened, and we went ahead and we took an x-ray, and they didn't see anything wrong with my foot. He noticed, it looked a little inflamed, but, nothing really alarming. So he provided me a prescription of like an anti-inflammatory and painkiller. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's probably the same medication that I'm taking right now. It's called Vimovo. And so I told him, okay, this is really weird because I'm in a lot of pain. But I went ahead and, since there's nothing shown up in the x-ray, clearly it's not broken. So let's move on. He did recommend the doctor to wear like a foot cast, like an ankle brace sort of thing. And there was these little tiny pads you can buy to insert in your shoe where it was more comfortable, a little bit more padding. So I did that, and it just didn't get better. The pain was still there, and it just increased, and the swelling also increased as well. So I was like, hey, this is really weird. I think I'm going to schedule an appointment with my family doctor and see what he says. So I scheduled my appointment, and he found it a little odd as well, but figured I'd go see a specialist. So I make an appointment with the specialist, and I talk to them, and I explain to them everything, and they're asking me to do certain like exercises and moves to see how much mobility I had with my foot, and they can tell I was in a lot of pain and my foot was quite swollen. Now, the doctor assumed right after speaking to me and looking at me that I had what was called marcher's foot, which essentially means that I had a very small hairline fracture in that part of my foot that I tried to explain earlier. And so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they did some sort of radio frequency on my foot, some sort of frequency. So they just put they put like some sort of lubricant, they put like this machine, and it was quite painful. And she said that, this is a sign that it's very likely you have a hairline fracture. So we did another x-ray, but again, they couldn't see anything. However, the doctor assumed that because there was so much inflammation in my foot, and because the fracture is so severely small, that it wouldn't show up on an x-ray. So that means that her theory was correct. So why wouldn't I believe her? Because I was in pain, and she was a foot doctor specialist. So she recommended, or insisted rather, that I wear an air cast for 6 weeks. And it should get better. Only take it out when I shower or go to sleep at night. I did it. Well, I honestly was consistent for about 3 weeks or so. And then I went on vacation and I wanted to go swimming and I wanted to do all these things. So it was on and off a lot, to be honest. And I was feeling a little bit better, before the 6 week mark. So I figured, okay, this is what's wrong. I must have had a hairline fracture. Great. Moving on. Came back from my vacation, did my follow-up appointments, everything's all good. Now, this is when things really started to drastically change. So I still had this pain in my foot, but I was told that, something like this takes a very long time to fully recover. So I will be experiencing some sort of level of pain for a long time. So I just accepted it. I can't tell you exactly when this all happened, but this happened anywhere from, let's say, September 2018 to, I believe, April of 2019. Okay. Now, I had 3 major flare-ups, and this really interfered with my work life, my social life. It was just crazy, okay? So the first time I had a flare-up was in my left knee. I, again, just woke up one day and I was so stiff and I couldn't even put my feet on the floor, and my knee was like kind of red. And mind you, there was kind of like a buildup. Like before this flare up happened, I believe it was just the day or two before, I was like, man, like I'm in a lot of pain. My knee was kind of just red in color all the time. It felt warm. And I was like, this is really odd and I don't like this feeling. And then yeah, the flare up just happened and I couldn't walk. My knee was severely swollen. I couldn't fully extend my leg, nor could I fully bend my leg. It was just I was a hot friggin' mess, you guys. Like I was scared, honestly. I had to call into work, and which sucked because I at the time was managing one of the spas and I would open the spa every morning. So I had to like call someone in. It was just a hot mess. And it was something that I honestly truly don't miss, did not enjoy, to be honest. So, I obviously had to get an emergency appointment with my doctor to see what the hell was going on. And basically, my doctor was suggested that because of this hairline fracture, I was always kind of walking with kind of like a weird limp because I never really wanted to put weight on my left foot because it always just hurt. So my doctor assumed that all this swelling and pain is because my body alignment wasn't correct and because of me walking awkwardly, I guess, basically is what is causing all of this extra pain and whatnot. So physiotherapy was the solution. So I started physiotherapy. So physiotherapy does help, I will say, but it wasn't necessarily helping me at the time because we thought all this inflammation, all these flare-ups, all this pain was due to this little stupid hairline fracture in my foot, which probably I never had to begin with, to be frankly honest. I think that all these little symptoms that I've experienced from the very beginning was just early signs of rheumatoid arthritis. So, I did physiotherapy and things progressed, things got better. And then, I did what I was supposed to do. And then I had another flare up. And this time, the flare up did not only affect my knee, but it affected my right shoulder specifically, and my elbow. So my elbow had swollen up. I couldn't, I do not kid, I could not bring a toothbrush up to my mouth. This simple motion that I took for granted, not anymore. I could not do that. I had to put and again, I couldn't really put my chin towards my chest. So I really struggled to meet halfway to brush my friggin' teeth. I could not tie my hair back, which I struggled for the last week, you guys. Like, just doing this hurts right now. But again, not a big deal from what I was experiencing earlier this week or what I experienced before I found out I had rheumatoid arthritis. Anyways, so I had my flare up, and it usually, when I have a flare up, it will last for about a week, and then things will slowly progress. And during this time, I could not, I had troubles just sitting on the toilet. I had troubles lifting my leg to get into the shower because we have a bathtub shower. I had to use a cane to walk to my, kitchen, to the bathroom, to do anything. I had to have my leg constantly elevated. I had to ice, the whole shindig, and I would be off work that week, and it was kind of taking a toll with work because we were like, hey, what's going on? They didn't want to let me go, and I didn't want to be let go either. So it was a difficult situation. But luckily, my employers at the time were really sweet, and they accommodated me, which I'm very thankful for. So by the time I had my third flare up, that's when things really hit home for me, and I knew deep down inside that something was really truly wrong with me. This wasn't just, caused from a hairline fracture that was about a year ago. By the time I had my third flare up, it was about a year since then, and I couldn't fathom that. So, and I feel like, honestly, our intuition is so point on all the time. Always listen to your gut, you guys. I just knew something was wrong. So again, I made another appointment with my family doctor, and I was so serious with this guy. I was like, honestly, I don't know who the hell I need to see, but you need to recommend me to some sort of specialist that really focuses on joints or something, because it's just, this is ridiculous. This is not normal. This is not okay. And I was telling him how much it affected me. I was not mentally okay. I was really unstable mentally and physically, and I was in a really dark space. So that's when, he took me more seriously, and he recommended that I see a rheumatologist. I had no idea what a rheumatologist was. I just figured, okay, that sounds serious, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, to be really honest with you guys. I just knew I needed to see someone. And so I figured, I then learned it was a specialist for joints and whatnot. So I figured, okay, this is a good, first step. So it took a while to get an appointment with this doctor. And I do live in Toronto. So the doctor that I'm currently seeing, she's from St. Joseph's Hospital. Thank God for them, honestly. So I finally saw her And we had a really long talk. We talked about everything. I talked about all my symptoms. And she didn't jump to any conclusion. She didn't tell me what she thought it may be. She was like, okay, like well, I'm sure she had a good idea what was going on with me in order to take the right tests to find out what was going on. So I'm sure she had an idea, but she was very understanding. We took it really slow, and she figured, okay, let's do a series of tests and see what's going on internally. So she had scheduled me to go in for a MRI. So I did that, and then I did my blood work, and I took some x-rays again just to make sure to cancel that out. Upon my first visit, she also took the fluid out of my knee. So my knee was so inflamed, and I guess I had so much fluid. That's why I was so fat. Like, honestly, when I look at myself in pictures, like, I was so inflamed. And I had so much acne. Oh my God, that's another story for another time. I had so much acne. And that was kind of another, when your body shows you signs saying, like, especially acne with your face, when you are breaking out a certain way, a certain place in your face, it shows signs of what's going on internally. And my main breakouts were here on my cheeks, which, if you guys understand Ayurveda, this really signified pitta, and I really had a lot of heat and a lot of inflammation in my body, and my body was really just telling me, hey, something's going on internally. I'm showing you, literally. But anyways, so it was just crazy. So she figured, okay, let me extract the fluid from your knee, because first of all, it needs to go. It's not going to go anywhere otherwise. And also we can test this fluid. Now, this was kind of painful, but again, it was nothing, now that I think back to it. And as she was extracting all this fluid from my knee, it was like a dark yellow color. And right off the bat, she said, that's not a good sign. This tells me you have a lot of inflammation in your body. So, I'm sure she had a hunch of what was going on at the time. So after all of the tests were done, and she'd received the results she needed, I guess, she gave me a call, and we had our follow-up appointment. Now, this follow-up appointment was basically pretty much when everything changed for the better, okay? So I'm not going to bore you guys with all the analytics that she told me. But basically, long story short, she diagnosed me right there with rheumatoid arthritis. It was clear as day, she said. All the tests that they ran, it was just very obvious. Luckily, though, even though it was about a year and a half worth of symptoms, we still caught this disease early on. So meaning that with the MRI, she was able to let me know that the disease wasn't able to really cause real changes or damage to my joints. Thank God. So she gave me a lot of different treatment options. She told me things that I should avoid, things that I need to incorporate more, that sort of thing. And yeah, I was just shocked, because I was like, what is rheumatoid arthritis? So rheumatoid arthritis is essentially an autoimmune and inflammatory disease. I always twist up on my words, you guys, but basically my immune system is attacking my good healthy cells by mistake, which is causing swelling and inflammation in my body. That's pretty much the sum of it. So unfortunately, ironically, this autoimmune disease is specifically attacking my joints. Specifically, when someone is diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, most of the time, your first symptoms will appear in either your hands or your feet. So for me, it was in my feet and specifically in my left foot. I do, however, have some pain in my right foot, my right knee. I've also been having some pains in my hips, and I've also had pain in the neck, shoulder, and elbows. But where the main source of the pains are typically in the joints and my knees. My knees are really the big struggles here. So yeah, it's just crazy. However, I did learn that also what can cause rheumatoid arthritis. First of all, I learned that on my father's side, that I actually have some family members who suffer with rheumatoid arthritis. So it is hereditary genetics. So I believe, I guess, I got it from my father's side. However, it's more common for women than men to be diagnosed or even just have rheumatoid arthritis. What else do I know about rheumatoid arthritis? It also really depends, like, on your life choices, what triggered it. So, a really bad habit of mine that I still till this day need to work on is smoking. Smoking could have very likely been one of the triggers for the rheumatoid arthritis to kind of happen in my body, if that makes any sense. Stress can trigger it. Obesity can trigger it. There could be a number of things, right? So, there's no real answer as to what really triggered my rheumatoid arthritis, but I figured, with my life choices that I have, it's probably from the stress, from the smoking. Something's hereditary too. And it can happen pretty much at any age. It can happen even when you're a child. I believe when you're a child, it's called juvenile arthritis, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. And it's funny when I tell people I have rheumatoid arthritis, because I feel like they just hear the arthritis part and they look at me and they're like, "You're so young. There's no way you have arthritis." Sure. And I feel like that's what kind of is misleading with this specific disease. So yeah, it's an autoimmune disease, and it sucks. It's something that I can't necessarily cure. It's something that I'll always have. But again, it's something that I kind of have to learn to live with. And I just have to adapt to it. And I feel like I just need to just make the necessary life changes in order to live, a healthy life. Because honestly, my fear is that by the time I'm 50 years old, I'm just going to, be super stiff. I won't be able to do anything. Like, I've always been a super unflexible person, and let me tell you, I'm not anywhere close to being flexible in my ideal state of mind. But yeah, it's something I'm working with. And I also feel like so long as I do what's appropriate and what's right to recover, then, by the time I'm 50 years old, I shouldn't have such a difficult time. I promised myself that one of the main intentions for myself this year, and a goal of mine, is just to really be more active. I've really been enjoying doing yoga at home and doing some body weight or lightweight workouts, because I feel like it's what's really important, while having rheumatoid arthritis, is to stay active. I definitely noticed that when I'm not active, I feel really stiff. I feel a lot of pain. Um, and I do feel like being active does help with my mobility. However, in turn, when I'm more active, and I'm on my feet more, especially when I go for my walks, um, it's not so much right away when I feel the pain. I feel like I really feel it once I settle down and relax for the night. If I'm in one position for at least 20 minutes or longer, even if I'm just sitting upright, or just if I have like one leg bent or whatever it is, I can't just spring up and get up. I have to like like slowly get out of the position and then move. It's just stiffness in my body. I can't just go. Like, after sitting here, it's going to take me a little bit to get up because my knees have been bent for a little while. So it's not necessarily painful at all, but it is uncomfortable, really. That's what it is. I feel like I'm doing such a bad job applying my makeup while I'm telling you guys how I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I should have known myself better, but it is what it is. I suck at multitasking sometimes. I don't know why. So yeah, basically that's my story of how I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I feel like, if anything, this is really just going to push me to live a healthier lifestyle, honestly. I'm just going to think of it in a more positive mindset, and not, at first I felt sorry for myself, to be honest. I'm not looking for any pity, just saying, but like I felt, like, why me, out of everyone, like what's wrong with me, why do I have to go through all this pain, yada yada yada. And I'm also just scared of what it's going to look like in the future. When I'm 56 years old, am I going to have flare-ups? Am I going to continue to have pain? These are all the thoughts that run through my head. But again, I'm just trying to have a positive mindset about it. So, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of different treatment plans. And so when I spoke to my doctor about all the treatment plans there were, I figured I would go with the one that I'm currently on. And it definitely seems to work. I hate when I mess up like that. When you mess up like that, just let it dry, remove it with a Q-tip, you're good to go. Anyways, so I am currently on, and I have been on this medication for over a year. So I started in June of 2019, and I give myself an injection once a week. Thursdays are my day, of methotrexate, 25 milligrams. And then every other day of the week, I take a supplement called folic acid, which helps to produce and promote a healthy red blood cells. And then at the time, I was taking 2 Vimovo pills a day, which is essentially like a painkiller and anti-inflammatory. However, after about, I would say, 4 months of being on this medication, I just felt like it wasn't necessary for me to take the painkillers twice a day. Because essentially it would take 3 months minimum for the methotrexate to really just do its job. So my medication, once it did finally kick in, it was about at the 3-4 month mark for me. That's when I felt a lot better, less pain, less stiffness, and I was able to just take the pain medication just as needed, really. And so basically with the methotrexate, what it is essentially, how do I describe it? It's like a mini chemotherapy in a sense. So it's just telling my body to stop attacking itself. It's reversing the autoimmune disease, essentially. I feel like that's the best way I could describe it at the moment. So it's definitely helping. Mind you, with any medication, you have to be careful because, it could cause some damage to your liver and whatnot. And I used to have the biggest fear of needles. I just could not deal with it. Like, I couldn't watch someone give me or take blood. Whenever I got blood work done, I was so antsy about it. But we figured that giving myself an injection versus taking an oral pill would provide less side effects. So with less side effects, meaning, less nauseous feeling, less breakouts, whatnot. But I still do feel some side effects, especially the next day. So I usually take it Thursday night before bed. And then when I wake up Friday mornings, I'm usually pretty groggy. My stomach's a little off, but it's kind of just gotten easier and better over time, to be honest. And then there's that. There's really nothing more to it, to be honest with you guys. But let me tell you, I have faced my fear of needles. Like, she don't faze me no more, okay? When I got my lips done, you guys, I was really scared because I was told it's pretty painful because, you're getting a bunch of needles poked into your lips, and your lips are very sensitive. So I felt like, okay, I was a little scared to do it because of the whole needle aspect of it. But then after like giving myself this methotrexate for over a year, I faced my fear. I was like, I can get a few pokes in my lips because I've been poking my friggin' belly and thighs for I don't know how long, honestly. I do know it's been just over a year. I'm just over exaggerating here, I guess. But yeah. Like I'll show you guys. I keep it right here under my desk. My hazard box. Full of needles. These are all the needles that I've taken. It's just, when I look at that crap, it's like, all those pokes. But, like, I could be on this methotrexate for the next 10 years. Who knows if it works, if it doesn't, mess with me. She's here to stay. And I've also thought about just sharing more about my disease. Because I don't know, like maybe someone else out there is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and they don't want to feel alone. I feel like the longer that I've had rheumatoid arthritis, I feel like, I don't know if like my search techniques have improved, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there who also suffer with rheumatoid arthritis. It's not very uncommon. But again, I feel like it's not really talked about often. So I just wanted to share my experience, my story with you guys. Because yeah, like I had no idea what the hell rheumatoid arthritis was until I was diagnosed with it. Like when my doctor was telling me everything, I was just dumbfounded, honestly. I had no idea what she was talking about, what to do. I had no idea. And even when we talked about really the extent of this disease, and she told me about the treatment plans, I was like, shit, like it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow because I didn't want to, you know, commit to taking medication for the rest of my life. It's just not a lifestyle I want to live, and I'm hoping one day I won't have to, because I do want to start a family. And in order for me to actually try to have a family, I would have to wean off of my medication for at least 3 months. And then be absolutely clean off of methotrexate for 3 months. Then I can start trying for a baby. That way there's no complications, no scares, because there could be some issues with the medication getting pregnant. And from what my doctor said, that for most women, that when they are pregnant, when they have rheumatoid arthritis, typically the rheumatoid arthritis goes into remission, which is actually really great. Also, if you decide to breastfeed, if you're able to, I believe it's a good thing, you know, your body goes into remission. And so I'm hoping that's what happens. My body goes into remission. I don't have any flare-ups. And then maybe, you know, with healthy exercise and a healthy diet and not smoking anymore, that's a big one. I'm kind of glad that I have to do this whole weaning off of my methotrexate, because if I don't quit permanently by then, like, this is just like the perfect time. Okay, I got 6 months to quit and be smoker free, because there's no way in hell I would ever do something like that. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional, but yeah, this is not the chat for this video. Anyways, you guys, I'm just going to wrap up this really basic makeup look. This is pretty much what I do every day anyways, so I just wanted to do something while on camera and telling you guys about my story. I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to me ramble about how I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, please send me a message down below. I would love to hear your story and just connect with people in the community who kind of suffer with the same things, and maybe we can just, you know, start conversation and just spread more awareness and do ourselves a favor and just try to be healthy, live our best lives, whatever version that is for you. And yeah, so again, thank you for watching. If you sticked all the way to the end, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll definitely see you guys soon. Bye.